I am here with Charlotte O'Connor, the membership sales manager at Town Wash Holding. And I have Charlotte on today for this very special episode where we're celebrating Women's History Month, specifically here in the car wash industry. How you doing, Charlotte?
Hi, Max. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining the EverWash podcast. We're really excited to have you.
Thank you.
So, like I said, we're here celebrating Women's History Month this month, and you are, when I think of women in car washing, you are one of the first people I think of, mostly because you were the first woman that I worked with in the car wash industry. So I wanted to have you on to talk about your experience, how it is that, if you have any tips and tricks for women in the car washing industry, as well as tips and tricks for any car wash operators, managers, anyone out there in the industry. So just want to start with a little bit about you, though. So tell our audience who you are, where are you from, and just a little bit about your background.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you for having me. So a little bit about me and my background. So I was a stay-at-home mom for about 18 years. And then once the kids were grown, I decided to start dabbling into work. And I started working for EverWash, actually, in the car wash business first. So that was late 2017. And I would go out to a whole bunch of car washes and do sales for membership. So that's how I started in my life as far as work goes. I did step away a little bit from EverWash right before COVID. And then I started working in sales in another industry, which was the furniture industry. I do enjoy sales. I think I have a knack for sales. I'm happy, I'm go lucky. So that's just what I do. So that's it. I'm back in the car wash business, doing membership sales. And it's a wonderful job.
Nice. And tell us a little bit about where you work today. Town Wash Holdings. They have a couple different car washes here in the Philadelphia area. Tell us a little bit about, what it's like working for Town Wash Holdings, a little bit about their history, their operation, stuff like that.
All right, excellent. So my boss today, Casey Fordham, who owns his first car wash, I work mainly at that car wash. It is a flex car wash. So actually, he was one of my accounts through EverWash. And so when I was working in a different industry, he reached out to me to say, hi, how you doing? Can what have you been up to? Yada, yada. And then he's like, oh, I could use some help in sales. Could you swing by? I'm like, yeah, I will. On my days off of my other job, let me come by. Let me check in. I did miss the car wash industry. It's a fast paced, high energy business. You see thousands of people a week. And it worked for me because I loved it. I came from the restaurant background as well. But Casey has now owned this car wash for about 6-7 years now. He's acquired 4 more car washes all throughout the Northeast area of Philadelphia. One is in Jersey. So basically, I would go out to all his car washes right now at different times, train people, make sales, teach the perfect pitch, things like that. But Casey is just doing a great job with this car wash at Casey's Car Wash. It's my baby. I love it there.
I love that. So, let's kind of talk about that. You mentioned that you have a knack for this kind of stuff. Well, what are some of those tips and tricks that you go back to, that perfect pitch that you mentioned? How do you turn that into success? And what are some of the tips and tricks you can offer to other, whether they're car wash managers or even any attendants listening to this video?
Well, first of all, I think in this industry, because the high volume of people you see in such a short amount of time, a few hundred cars a day, you have to have a thick skin. You have to be able to deal with tons of different personalities. And I'm your happy-go-lucky girl. For me, I think because I grew up with a bunch of men, I had 3 older brothers, 5 boy cousins. I was the only girl in the family. And I think that you have to the type of woman in this business, you have to be a little bit happy-go-lucky, pretty self-confident, and a little thick skin. Because again, you're dealing with a ton of different type of people. As far as the perfect pitch goes, for me, it comes naturally because I believe in what I'm selling. It's not hard. It's how can you not be a member? So honestly, when I go through many customers a day, some just won't do it yet. And then some come back and say, you got me, Charlotte. you know what? You got me. Sign me up today. Today's the day. So every little sign up that I get, whether it's one a day or 30 a day, and I have those days, it just makes me feel so excited because I know that this person that's just signed up is going to love this service, especially at our washes and what we do. And I also do other things like support. I help out in our support area, which I also did at EverWash, which I learned a lot from EverWash. So dealing with customers over the phone is different than the car wash, right? You don't really get to see them or anything like that, but helping the support center with any complaint, trying to hang on to that customer, whether it's adjusting through their finances, whether it's saying, hey, you know what, you haven't used it in a while, let me give you a few extra weeks, whatever you can do to make the person happy, is ultimately what I do.
Yeah, that's all great stuff, Charlotte. Great tips and tricks. And I want to call back something that I spoke to another car wash operator about recently and get your take on it. So I was speaking to a wash operator about people that come back and, your members and people who wash a lot. With membership, the whole idea with the sales pitch is you can come back and you can wash as often as you would like. Some operators don't like saying it that way because they don't want people to come in all the time and, take advantage of their membership. But I was recently speaking to another operator who kind of explained to me that, the relationships that you build with your frequent customers are the most important ones, because those are the kind of people that they'll do the advertising for you. They'll almost become your best salespeople, aside from you, of course, right? So just how do you approach the frequent washers, the people that come in often? How do you you yourself interact with them, and how do you train other people on the staff to interact with these folks?
Yeah, I when I have frequent washers, how do I interact with them? Hey, Don, how are you feeling? How are you feeling today? Don just went through cancer treatment. I've actually built such a rapport at this one wash that I'm mostly at. We have over 2,500 members there. I can't tell you how gratifying it is to see them come often, check in with me. I'm checking in with them. I know a little bit about their life. They know a little bit about my life because I have some time to talk to them. But what are the tips and tricks is, say Don came in this morning, got a wash. He wants to come back again in the afternoon because bird pooped all over his car or there was construction. Of course, we're going to take care of him. With the EverWash app, which we have at this location, but all of our other locations, we guaranteed satisfaction. Now, will you get someone that comes through like 3 times a day? Yes, and not very often, but why are they doing that? Let's find out what we didn't do or why are they doing that. Let's figure out how we can help them that first time. But a lot of times, you have to give them another wash that day if they wanted another wash, but that's not the essence of any of this. The essence is, Charlotte, hey, this is a different customer. Can you get my wheels? My wheels are, yes, absolutely. Hey, Chidi, can you just spray those wheels a little bit for him? Whatever you got to do to make them feel heard, acknowledged, and that they're leaving happy. That's my tip. I take care of all of our customers, and even customers who aren't members, I take care of them because some people still are repeat customers without being a member. So I do take care of them. Now, will I put them through several times a day? No, we will try to spot clean whatever they need. But that's what you have to do. You just kind of constantly always work with the highs and lows of what's going on in the weather, with the industry, and what's going on at your wash that day. So
right. That's great advice. Thank you so much for that, Charlotte. That's it's really great to hear that kind of sentiment echoed from several of our wash operators and wash partners, because that's really what the gist of being a member is. It's a VIP experience, and if we're not treating our members like they're VIPs, then what's the point, right? So that's awesome to hear. So I wanted to kind of shift gears a little bit with the conversation a little bit. Like I said at the beginning, we are celebrating Women's History Month here at EverWash, and you are the staple of successful women in the car wash industry. So I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about what that experience has been like, starting with, generally speaking, what's it like being a woman in a male dominated industry like the car wash space?
Well, it's funny. So I think it's really weird to me when people don't expect women like me to be at a car wash. When women, I think we have to change this industry. And one of the things, how we're changing it is, we were going to talk about this in a little bit, is Women in Car Wash, right? That's a conference that gathers women from all over the United States and Canada who are in this industry. But your question is like, what is it like? You know, you have to be happy-go-lucky and you have to have thick skin. That's what it's like. I think what makes me sad is that I might sometimes look down on, like, this poor woman, you know, what is she doing here? I've had that feeling, and it makes me sad. And instead I say, no, I love it. I said, I got a great life. I said this, I'm living the dream here. I said, I get to see you every day. So it's just being a happy-go-lucky kind of person is, for me, it worked out well. I can't say it's for every woman, obviously. I love sales in general. You know, I can just, it just makes me feel really good about helping somebody else. But if you're not that person, then don't be in the car wash business, because you're going to see hundreds of thousands of people a week. So that's my advice to any women. If you like people, great job. I've got people that are coming there to spend some time by themselves just to get a car wash. It's therapeutic for them too. And to have a happy greeter and someone who cares about them. How are you doing today? What can I help you with? Do you need anything? You know, it's just that customer service you have to give. So
I love it. I love it. And you kind of mentioned something else here. You're very involved in Women in Car Wash, the conference, the organization. Tell us a little bit about the organization and why you got involved and how it supports other people in your situation, other women working at various levels in the car wash industry.
Yeah, I mean, so I went to my first one 2 years ago, and I was just a participant, and I thought this would be a great way for me to learn a little bit more about other parts of the car wash. Look, I'm not a loader. I don't scrub tires. I don't know the mechanics. I don't know all the chemicals. I don't know what insurance. So this Women in Car Wash that Brendan Johnson, the creator of this conference, has started, I think has been fabulous. So I got to learn a little bit about more than what I got to do. Then at the end of the conference last year, I said, Brenda, this was great. I had a great time. I said, you know what's missing though? I said, the only thing that I don't see at this conference to me is the most important thing is membership sales. I'm like, you don't even have a segment on it. She's like, you want to do it? I'm like, sure. So that was like my next level check mark. Oh, Charlotte's going to be a guest speaker at a conference. So this past January, I was a guest speaker for membership sales, and I rocked it. Okay. Despite the little hiccup I had in the beginning, which I left my computer on the plane, but I got it just in time for the conference. It was like a nightmare. Anyway, I rocked it. I did great. I was asked to do another one in Portland, Oregon in June, which I will not be able to participate in. But I think if anybody wants to get more involved, or women want to get involved, that's a great place to start, is doing a conference like that. Because you'll learn a whole bunch of different facets of but what I did in my segment for Women in Car Wash for membership sales, I did more like boots on the ground, like what it takes to do what I do in membership sales. How do I take, when I started with Casey, the second round of my career back in the car wash industry, when I went back to Casey's, it'll be 2 years in April. He had 850 members. We're less than 2 years, and we're at just about 2,600 members.
Amazing.
And that's because I'm consistent. I'm very thorough from what I do, how my pitch goes. It's clean, it's easy. We give out literature. I recognize same faces. I saw you last week. You're here again. Well, it rained. And I said, well, that's why it's so important to be a member. I said, trust me. And then my best thing is when I turn someone into a member, I'm like, all right, so now you got to buy me lunch and I save you so much money. And they're like, Charlotte, can I get you some Dunkin' Donuts? I'm like, no, I don't want any donuts. I'm just teasing. I'm just happy that you're finally a member and you're going to be saving some money. So that's just, but anyway, gosh, I veered off. But yeah, Women in Car Wash to me is a great way to start if you want to learn a little bit more about the industry.
No, that was amazing.
And you get to network with so many people through the United States, through Canada, and just on LinkedIn and everything about it. And you always have a resource, you know what I'm saying? Oh, well, I met this girl and she was in insurance, or I met this girl and she does the chemicals. And you have a networking because you all start to network. I'll probably always go to the conference, Women in Car Wash, every January in Fort Lauderdale. It's a great place to go to, but it's very knowledgeable. You get a lot back from it.
That's excellent. I'm happy to hear that you've gotten so involved with it. It's been great to see your career kind of take off from afar as well. But it's also great to see something like this in place in the industry, because if you're not getting voices like that together in one place, then those voices would never be heard. So it's great to see this happening with Women in Car Wash, and to see what Brenda's putting together. So, hopefully we'll have her on an episode in the near future, and we can get her take on it. But it's really great to see and hear how you've gotten involved. And so to that degree, Charlotte, what do you think the industry can stand to learn from women? What do you think one of the best things that women are taking to the table here, that whether it's male CEOs, car wash operators, or people who run vendors in the industry, what can we learn from women?
Well, we definitely have a gentle touch, right? We're a little bit more patient, maybe. I don't know, but what can you take from it? Just don't underestimate the woman's power, okay, in this industry. I think for me and a lot of women that I've met, they've been very successful. And there's a little feeling of not like a little of honesty, security. I don't know. I'm not trying to put men down by any means or anything. I'm just trying to say women sometimes brings that level of trust that you might not get like a, car salesman. That's male dominated as well. If I go to buy a car someday again, I want to make sure I go to a woman, and I'll tell you why. I just feel like they have more time and patience. That's all. Time and patience. And I think that they're a little bit more gentler and maybe a little bit more, smoother in the transaction of what they're trying to accomplish. That's all I can say. I don't know. I've met a lot of women in the industry. I haven't met any mean women in the industry yet. But I hope I never do. But I don't know. But I think men is also, thank God that we do have car washes. You know what I mean? It is a luxury if you think about it. And we have to all be grateful that it's still, doing well in this economy. And then for women to get involved, like I said, if I could go back 20 years, I want a car wash. But right. I think it's a little too late for me now.
Never say never, Charlotte, and I appreciate that advice. If there's any way that I can work more patience into my daily life, I will certainly try. So I appreciate that advice. And any more advice that you have for any other women trying to break into the industry? I know you said a lot, but if there's any parting thoughts that you have for anyone else trying to break in?
Well, listen, I think that if somebody is really interested, a woman interested in it, they should find a consultant first. So they knew the whole thing about car. It's not just sales. It's not just it's not just the chemicals. It's just there's so much to learn, and I'm still learning. So I would just say, if anyone's really interested, go to a consultant first that's in this industry. Come to me. I'll talk to you about it. I'd be very happy to, and what I know, but I don't really know the details of a lot of things as far as the mechanics go, the guts of the tunnel and all that good stuff. I mean, my company's got beautiful car washes right now. They got long tunnels, short tunnels. I don't know. It all starts with, like, if you want to buy something, you got to find the location. If you want to just lease something, you want to make sure it's in a good area. I mean, I would never get into this type of business unless it was in a good area that you knew there was traffic and high traffic. Right. A lot of people like, oh, let me get a car wash. I have extra money burning in my checking account or my savings account. Like, so many people I meet that are in their mid-lives and they have money and they're like, oh, I was always thinking about opening a car wash, make good money in a car wash. I'm like, well, yeah, but they just don't get it. You really need to sit down with somebody who can tell you the numbers and what it really takes to have a successful car wash, right? So my first advice would be is consult somebody in the industry, nitty gritty, and see if it's something that you can handle.
Awesome. Great advice. with this, Charlotte, and with everything. I mean, this is a great conversation. I wanted to thank you once again for joining me today. If there's anyone who wants to reach out to Charlotte, we'll have her information available for any kind of questions. If you are a woman listening, trying to break into the industry, but otherwise, again, thanks, Charlotte. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon.
Bye, Max. Thank you so much. I miss you guys over at the EverWash. Give
Stop by
everybody
anytime.
me.
Right on. Thanks, Charlotte. See ya.
Bye.